welcome to Coaching with Chris. I got a good friend and a guy that's helped me a lot in the industry, so I'm really excited to be able to bring Neel on today. But if you haven't checked out Windsor Pulse, make sure you check that out. Lots of great information. We highlight some cool employees. You get an opportunity to highlight an employee, but also all of our updates and our new pricing specials that's coming out in April. So I know we don't normally talk about a lot of things Windsor, but they're telling me I got to talk more a little bit about Windsor. And so new pricing specials all coming out. So make sure you check that out. Neel, how are you?
What's going on, Chris, my friend? Doing great.
Like,
Thank you for having me.
are you good?
I'm excellent, bro. I woke up a little tired today, but I got my ass in the gym, lifted some heavy things, and then now I'm here. I'm like, hey man, if I can't start with some movement, it kind of impacts my day. I don't know about you. I don't know when you decide to work out, but it's not if I don't do it first thing in the morning, Chris, it's not happening. So
Right.
I just like to get that out of the way. And then what's cool about that is it actually makes the rest of the day easier because if you like nothing's going to be harder than trying to lift all this weight because I have a trainer. He's making me do things that I don't want to do. That's like the
Yeah.
hardest part of the day. And now the rest of the day, man, this is fun. It gets easy. I just got to talk to customers and talk to people like yourself. That's easy.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I've sucked at working out lately.
Yeah.
Like I've been bouncing back and forth in between two places. Uh, and I've just sucked at it. And I just got
Yeah.
to get going. So those of you guys listening today, you guys beat me up for not doing that because I know what I need to do, and I haven't been doing it. Um, but let's get to you. Like a lot
Yeah.
of things have changed over this new year. I'm excited. I want to talk about forward. I want to talk about maybe a few things that loan officers owners, branch managers need to be doing in the second quarter. I mean, welcome to the second quarter. I wanted to
Yeah.
actually play a
Today's
joke
the
on you
perfect day for coaching with Chris. It's a day one, Q2.
day one, and I wanted to play a practical joke because it's April Fool's Day today. So I actually wanted to pull a joke on you, and I didn't get it all pulled off in time, so I couldn't do it. But I really wanted to get you, Neel.
Really? Yeah. Is this all a joke? Is this like this is April Fool's right now? This
It
isn't
should
even
be. It should be.
yeah.
No, but let's dive in. Like forward event is coming. You got to be
Yeah.
super excited. You always bring the heat. Uh I I will tell you it was one of my favorite conferences last year. And tell us about what's going to be happening in this coming year in July.
Yeah. So I would just say this first. Anybody, who is maybe an introvert, maybe in a rut right now, in a lull. And by the way, these people, Chris. Let's just be honest. It's been a rough couple of years, last few years in the industry. Now there are people thriving, but there's also a lot of people who are just surviving. Like they're just getting through it. And honestly, there's been some people who've been like waiting for like a better day, like, hey, we're waiting for the sun to come out. We'll just get through this. But it is somebody told me years ago, I said, yo, it's really hard out here, man. The market's tough. He's like, no, 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 stop saying that. The market just is. This is it. Like, people who are waiting for things to improve, like that's not happening. It is. And so you just adapt to what it is. And so that kind of changed my whole mindset about like, hey, what actions can we take today to help more people? And so I start off every day just thinking like, what actions can I take to help more people? And so when it comes to events, if you're in that rut or you want to get some new ideas, you want to get re-energized, sure, you can just get information on YouTube. You could watch Coaching with Chris. You could do this. Like, why should you literally get on a freaking plane, fly to Las Vegas or whatever city and do this? Well, I'll tell you why. Because something unique happens when you fly and you get out of your current situation and you put yourself in a new spot. And you've had this experience too, because we've talked about it. Like you have a chance to reflect on your business and your
Mhm.
life,
Yeah.
and information clicks finally, or you get inspired with a new idea, or you have a conversation in a hallway with another fellow person who's there, who's crushing it, and he unlocks something for you. Or you're just around the collective energy of people who are optimistic and want to do bigger things with their business and their life. And so all these things conspire together to create this boom. And events are really tough because you have to have all the pieces in order to create this transformation. Most of events, I'm just being straight with you, and we're not, I'm not trying to throw any shade, but most events cannot accomplish this because you need all the pieces of the recipe in order for the action to take place. So in order for that ignition to take place. So if you're missing one of the pieces, there's no ignition, and people honestly leave just feeling a little bit empty, like, hey man, I don't even know why I went, or I didn't get much out of that, or worst case, I had a bad experience. This was, nothing for me. I could have just stayed home and learned this online. So that's the common experience. But with us, what I try to do with Forward, and it took me about 5 years to get to this point, is create an experience that actually is able to do this transformation. So we provide super relevant information to what's needed right now, but that's just one piece of the recipe. The rest is the energy in the room. The rest is the quality of the people in the room. And the other part that I think people skip, Chris, is the experience. From the moment you walk in, this, it's different. This is not corporate. This is custom, not corporate. Like you're coming into a different environment that has a lot more energy. And a lot of the things that people come in, they're like, oh, why? I don't know what it was, but it was just different. I'm like, well, I know, because we literally go down to the, like, what does it feel like when you're in this room? Like, what's the audio? What's the video? What are the visuals? What are we, how are we assembling the day? Meaning, like, it's not just a random assembly of speakers. It's like, no, you're going on a journey. This person's going to teach you this, that
Right.
leads into this, and so on and so forth. And
Yeah.
so it took me a while to perfect that, but I feel like we've got it down to a science now. And it's just doing things with intention. Like, if you're going to do it, I'm going to do it right.
Yeah.
I'm really going to go all in. And somebody asked me, what's the business strategy around events? I would tell you it's a bad business strategy. It's like a lot of labor, super stressful. You lose money, all of that. But I will tell you this, the reason why I do it is because of the impact. If you do this correctly and you create that transformation, the messages I get afterwards, bro, are incredible. People are like, man, this was the best event, or this is one of the best events I've been to. Somebody told me it was the best weekend they had in years. I'm like, don't
Mm.
tell your wife that, but like, like this is like that type of vibe, like this
Yeah.
is, so yeah, all that to say is it's different. It's going to be next level. This year's going to be our 5th year. It's the biggest and best one we've ever done.
Yeah, that's cool. You know, I heard a cool quote that could really talk about you deciding to go to this event or not, which is you, you can't steal second base unless you let your foot off the first.
Good. Yeah. I love that.
And like you'll never grow unless you're willing to invest. And like I get it. It has been hard the last few years and investing in yourself. And you're probably thinking, should I actually invest the money now? Like uh and I've seen a lot of people like throw it on a credit card with a hope and a prayer, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think the timing more than ever is right now is to invest in yourself.
Yeah, I believe so too. And you think about this, Chris, the guy who has got his back up against the wall. And the reason I can say this is because I've been that person.
Yeah.
You got your back against the wall. Um, you've been putting in the work, maybe not getting the results. There's something that happens. My friend Ryan Grant really opened my eyes to this. There is a psychological condition, and I didn't know about this shit, but it was like when you went from making this amount of money when things are
Yep.
really good to making this, even though it's explained like, hey, there's less transactions, interest rate environment, whatever, like you're still making decent money. It's not a bad living, but you were up here
Right.
before. You actually have a lower self-worth. And so some people are like, man, I don't know why I feel this way. It's actually because you had a
Mm.
significant decrease in income and you attached your value to how much money you made, right? How many of us have been guilty of this? We attach our value, even in our household, with our friends, with our peers, even the people in the industry. How many people go around at some of these industry events and they're like, how much did you close? I went to one event, Chris, and I won't say which company or what organization holds it. And they literally ask you, what's your W-2 or what's your 1099 show? Like, I'm like, wait a second, I don't know you, bro. Like, don't ask me for my tax return. I'm not applying for a mortgage here. Like, but that's what people attach to their worth. So if that
Yeah.
went down, you feel less worthy and less impactful, and you wonder why you don't want to jump up out of bed and make the calls and do the videos and do all the things. So
Mm.
all that to say is this is the condition of people right now. I think we're in peak uncertainty. We're in peak meh. I don't know what to describe this. It's like apathy. I would just describe it as MEH. If I talk to people, they're like, how you doing, man? It's meh. I don't know. Not too good, not too bad. Nobody's going to say much else.
Yeah.
And if you're the type of dude who's like, you know what, I'm freaking pumped, man. Right now, Chris, there's a building being built outside here next to me. Bro, there's people out there digging a freaking ditch, lifting heavy shit. Yesterday it was super windy out here, so they have to clean up all this crap that blew everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm in an office here with air conditioning and heat, and I get to type keys on a board. I get to post videos on the internet. I get to
Yeah.
talk to customer. I get to do shit like that. Bro, let's get re-energized about the work we do. The
Yeah.
work that we do really impacts people.
For
Whether or
sure.
not you're making double the money or less money, like or half the money that you made in 2021 is irrelevant. Your work changes people's lives. Your advice matters. Like, let's get refocused and grateful for the industry that we're in. How many people get to say that a conversation or a video that you make today can literally change someone's life? We have the power to do that in this industry. I'm not trying to be cheesy, but I'm like, bro, it's true. We do. How many people watching this, and you and I both know this, because of the work you did, somebody got into a home. They wouldn't have got into the deal otherwise, but you went above and beyond and made it happen.
Yeah.
You went deeper. How many of us have turned around a deal that was declined elsewhere? Okay. So that work affects people and their family. And so let's get refocused on that. And then you coming from a place of like, dude, I'm lucky for what I get to do.
Yeah.
And I'm coming from a place of service now. So I'm not burnt out. Let's get this stuff going. Let's get it going. And then, yeah, man, if your back's against the wall and you put something on a credit card and you're like, man, I got to go do something. Yeah, I'm not saying that that's a good financial move, but what I am saying is like, look, you have no choice but to make it work. Some guy DM'd me last year and said, I have no choice but to make this work. How can I get more out of the event? So I gave him a list of things. I'm like, when you get there, I want you to use this script to introduce yourself to other people. I want you to leave with 3 contacts from the industry and
Yeah.
offer what do you have to offer people? He had some stuff that he's really good at in the industry. Let people know what's working for you. Bring value to others, right? Also, I want you to leave not with a book full of notes, but I want you to take a sticky note. And when you're done with the thing each day, I want you to write 3 things on that sticky note. And maybe it's 1 to 3 things, but no big thing of notes because you're not going to do all that shit. It's just 3 things. And so, like, you're going to leave with some 3 contacts and you're going to leave with 3 things to do. And that's it.
That's pretty simple. Hey,
Yeah.
Neil, real quick before we go on, I had to grab this text on my phone to read it to you because I think you can add color to it. He said, a gentleman reached out to me and he wanted to check in, and I knew there was another lingering question. And then he went to, I really liked your plan episode. So something that I did out on social. And he goes, the market's brutal right now. It's the slowest it's been in decades. I'm sure you've been through it, but it's mentally exhausting.
I
When things
agree.
are booming, you feel unstoppable. Like I feel like we've all felt that way. Nothing can touch you. Then when it's rough, it's like the ground's caving in and you're convinced you'll be out of business by tomorrow. I think I've tied. Here's the thing that hurt me. I think I've tied too much of my self-worth and identity to my business and success.
Yeah.
And it crushed me, Neil. Uh, because it was an opportunity now to go take him and lift him back up. And sometimes I've went in as a negative attitude, and I was like going to your event last year, and I hadn't heard a lot of these. I just heard so many new speakers that I never heard before,
Yeah.
and 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 I was like, it was so uplifting not only to see my staff that I brought with me, but then for me to really come back to the room and talk to my wife and say, I'm I just feel like I've got this idea and this plan. Even though the speaker didn't give me the plan, they like lit this fire, which then created the plan. And that's one of the coolest things that I've ever gotten from Forward last year was all the ideas that just even Daniel G just continues to pour in, and I just continue to learn things all from listening to Daniel at your event. So I'm excited.
Yeah. And what's
Uh,
cool about that is like maybe you knew the sales tactic. You probably knew. You've been in the game, a long time, bro. Like, but it was the energy in which he presented it. And you can't get that on Zoom, right? You can't and it's also partially why it hits and why it re-energized you was because of how you felt at the moment in which you received it. And how you feel at the moment in which you received it is based on the experience that we've had from the get-go. I mean, bro, this is the only event where it's sold out, every seat is full months in advance. This is the only industry event where people are lit. You saw it in the morning, they show up on time, everybody's there
No,
before
they
they put,
show up early.
yeah, they're there early because the doors are closed and they're waiting to get the best seat in the house. They're waiting for the doors to open. When we open the doors, it's a bull rush. Now, I did get last year on. I was asked how I get things, how I get better at things is I was asked for feedback. I noticed people don't give honest feedback, so I changed my feedback to be anonymous. When I made it anonymous, people give you the real scoop. They tell you what they really liked because they're afraid. Otherwise, they don't want to
Right,
be.
right, right,
They tell
right.
you, yeah, pat on the back, great job, Neil. I'm like, dude, I know that, but tell me where I could do better. And so when I ask for anonymous feedback, people give me the real. And one of the negative things, and there's a few things that I'm improving, but there's one thing where they said, hey, I don't like having to rush in the morning. I would prefer a little more calm. And I'm like, well, this probably, I don't know. I can't help you on that one. This is not that type of event. But you do, like, you got to show up, and everyone gets a seat. It's fine. But I'm just saying, like, they're so excited just to get in the room.
Oh, they are.
And so that type of excitement probably will impact at 11:15 when you hear the speaker say something that resonates with you. It clicks finally.
Mhm.
It's the whole thing. That's what I'm talking about. This whole recipe. It's a lot of mental work, but that's why we do the little things. That's why, like, someone's like, "Hey, Neil, this would blow the budget, but we need like this thing for the morning." And accounting's like, "Dude, you're already way over your budget. Like, this is not a good financial decision, but let's just do it. Like, we'll figure it out." I think that matters. Like, and I wouldn't say for people to waste money on things, but I'm just saying at a certain level, investing in the customer experience is highly valuable. Like, it does make an
Yeah,
impact.
it does. It does for sure. Well, we're rolling into second quarter. We just kind of started on it, and then I got on a tangent because I was so excited about forward. So I kind of jumped the gun on that. I could have done that at the
No
ending, but
worries,
I wanted to talk about it
bro.
right
But
now.
I really love the fact that you brought this up. I actually wrote it down as well. You said something here, and before we move on, is burnout, because I think burnout is one of the top things I hear from people in the industry. You
Mhm.
said, and you maybe should repeat this, you attach your self-worth or identity to market condition or to your income or to your success. What was it?
Yeah, so he's sending this text to me. He said, I think I have attached my self-worth to the success of the business. And now that the business is not doing good, the low is really low, is in a sense what he's saying. And I think when I read that, and from a person that I really care about,
Yeah.
by the way, I would have never called and go, hey, how's biz? Right? I wouldn't have
Yeah.
done that. But he saw something on social that triggered him to reach out, which I
Doesn't
mean,
happen very often
it,
either.
right. And yet I think we impact a lot of people on social. We just don't see it immediate. And I was kind of cueing you into social uh, because you're the genius at it. And that's why he reached out. And then which led to great conversations, creating a new plan. And off he went. But, you know, second quarter, uh, I'm a loan officer. We're having all of our loan officers and it going back and doing SWOT. We don't think that average will do it because they don't want to go back and evaluate first quarter and look at second quarter
Yep.
and evaluating relationships and actually putting a plan together for the second quarter and only looking at the second quarter for the next 3 months and not the whole year because I think we look too far forward. What are you doing as a business owner or in social and as a loan officer for the second quarter differently than you did in the first quarter?
Bro, I love the fact that you just said this because this is different than the advice that you get from everybody else. Everybody else says, let's make our year plan. Let's put our vision board together. Let's do how much loans are we going to close this year? It's a exercise in futility, right? In my opinion. And I might be wrong, but it's worked really well for me. And there's other people who I learned this from who are incredibly successful. And let me give you the epitome of this. Do you remember last year at the event, Alex Hormozy? He was our surprise guest in the morning. Uh, on the survey that I sent out, anonymous,
Yeah.
he was voted top speaker. I would love to hear more from him. It was like overwhelming majority. People just love him because he's just a genius, bro. He's a great
Oh,
teacher. And so Alex said something, and I don't know if people heard this. He said, people ask him all the time what his 5-year plan is. What's his vision? What's his goal with all of the work he's doing? He
Yep.
said, I don't know, but I just know if I keep doing the work that I need to do today and this week and this year, I'll have so many options in 5 years I won't be able to see straight.
I
That's what
remember
he
that.
said. Yeah. And so it's like that hit me, bro. Like I heard that really clear. I never forgot it from that day on. And I realized I've been doing this accidentally, but now I can like quote Alex when I say it. But the reason why it works so well is because you need to going back to the mental thing and not to get too woo woo on people, but like you need to put some points on the board, right? Like I can't feel like I'm freaking failing every day. Like
Hmm.
this big number I set for the year, and then now I'm freaking short. I'm not even on track for that number. And like I must be failing. Then all of a sudden I'm not doing the work. So what are some wins we could have today? Like not this week, even not this year, this quarter, like this freaking Tuesday, April 1st, start of second quarter. So for me, I have a minimum thing I want to do, which is I want to get my first thing, something for my health first. Because I don't know when anybody, if you ever get sick or really sick, or you've seen people sick, if you don't have your health, you have nothing, bro. It's like
Health is wealth.
nothing else matters when you're sick.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, like let's do that. I have a lot of stress. You know, we're in a very stressful industry. I went to a doctor. He's like, Neel, your blood pressure a little high, bro. Your little stress levels, your cortisol is probably high. Like if you don't start addressing this, it's okay now, but if you don't start addressing this, you're gonna be like this dude who has a freaking heart attack when he's 56 or something. Like, and that scared me. I was like, oh shit, I better freaking get my health under control. So first, foremost, health. Okay, do that. Do something for your health first. Otherwise, none of this shit matters. Next is okay, I won. I went, I did that first. I did some movement. Next is okay, I'm going to tell people what I do and how I can help them. The way I choose to do that is through content. Now, I also do one to one, but my main strategy at this point in my career has shifted to one to many. It's more
Mm.
efficient for me. I used to do everything one to one. I used to make the calls one to one. I used to do knock on doors. I used to ask for business one to one, and
Uh-huh.
it still happens. Like it's still effective. We're doing
Hmm.
this conversation one to one, but how I attract people into that and have better conversations is I do one to many. So the way I do this through posting content, just doing videos, doing webinars, things like this. So every day I'm going to do something like that. So it's going to be posting a piece of content. It's going to be sending out a mass email. It's going to be some one to many activity. And I map this out for the whole week. The next thing I'm going to do is something related to prospecting, like closing the circle. So one to many works to get awareness and to get people into your funnel, but it doesn't get you paid. The part that gets you paid is like closing that circle, making a call to action, doing something that would close it. So I'm going to be working on something like that. And then the last step is going to be like, you know, the day-to-day grind of like closing deals or doing things like this. But I would prefer to have a team, which I do, and get some help there. If you don't have help, you have to do that yourself. But like
Right.
I do that in the afternoon. The morning, I want to do the stuff that really moves the needle for me, which is this stuff. Now, the reason why I shifted that from morning to afternoon is I realized if I start the morning with operations, the afternoon, I don't end up doing the prospecting and the sales and the one to many effort because I'm just putting out fires. And so I get managed by this bullshit system, you know, of like, hey, this needed help, this deal, this, you know, so like I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm saying do the stuff that's more important first. It's not selfish to put yourself and your business first because if you do that, it creates so many opportunities to do help more people.
Mm.
So I would put
Yeah.
yourself in the beginning and then do all these other things for other people. We're super good at in this industry of showing up for everybody else except ourselves,
True.
right?
Yeah.
Like people literally health goes down. I'm one of them because we would show up for a partner or a customer before we'd even do something for ourselves. I mean, think about that.
I know. We
So
put ourselves last.
yes. And so let's flip that around. It's not selfish, by the way. Like it allows you to be a better father, husband, loan officer, leader, whatever it is. Like you need to be at the head of that whole process. And when you start doing that, you'll notice it creates so much more opportunities. People, you become a better leader. You start attracting people to your business. You also have this thing which I really just tapped into by accident, and I'd love for everyone to get to this point. Maybe you're already there if you're watching this, but I think it's you have this energy. It's called with or without you energy,
Okay, wait. With
or without you.
or without you.
I'm
Okay.
gonna like I'm helping people today. Like I don't I would love to help you, but it's going down no matter what. The reason why forward blows up every year is because this thing is going down with or without you. We would absolutely love for you to be a part of it. But if you don't, or you can't, or you're not feeling it, fine. It's happening with or without you. I'm going to be working with people, business partners. I'm helping people. I'm doing all this stuff. And so what it creates is people start to value you more as a professional. You start getting less shoppers, rate shoppers. You start getting business partners that really respect you. And so I found that people like one thing people value in this industry is money, but the second thing they really, really value and want is respect.
Yeah.
Dude, when you get a client or someone who really appreciates the work you do, bro, that's even more impactful than money. You ever notice that? Like somebody sends you a text, just a simple text to be like, Neel, dude, I really appreciate the work you did on getting that deal done. Man, you're the best at what you do. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bro, it's like 3 lines that make my freaking heart sing for the whole week. Like, and it's so simple, right? It's just respect. So how do you get more people like that and less of the people that are like, hey, work with you for 6 months and then bail, don't even tell you and work with somebody else? That's what really, every time that happens, I question my career choice. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
all that to say is you have this energy when you start doing things like this where people start to respect you more. And then that it becomes a self-fulfilling thing. And it becomes this momentum that just, continues to grow and continues to grow.
Yeah. Hey, Carl asked real quick, how do I get a better audience to my social media videos? Do they have to be my friends on Facebook or do I have to reach out to the ideal clients? I mean, great question. Uh, but
Yeah.
you're talking about with or without you, which I love that quote. Never even heard that. But one to many kind of ties to Carl's question.
Yes. So Carl's making a video and maybe he's seeing that not a lot of people are watching it. So number one is we need to make a better video. That's the audience saying, hey, they're not, it's not engaging. And so what I found is, some people will say, well, the information is boring. There's a way to make boring information more exciting. You want to package it different. One of the easiest ways to do this is to show, don't tell. Don't just tell them, show them. Easy way is like if you want to teach something, don't just tell them the numbers, actually show it to them. So people are super engaged if you go to a whiteboard, show your
Yeah.
screen. And I'm not saying they don't want to see our faces, Chris, but I'm saying they don't want to see our faces for the whole video. Like they're like,
Yeah.
dude, I got like, if I start the video and be like, guys, I want to break this. So this is a crazy success story. You guys are going to believe this. Let me show you the numbers on this deal, or let me show you the math on this, or my client wants to buy this particular property. Let's look at the math. Or did you know you could do this versus this? Let's look at this. And then I point to something and I cut from my mug to showing something. When you do this, it makes it more engaging. So that's just one of many things that we could talk about. But like that's one easy way for people to get more views, more engagement, because it just makes it easier to watch. The next thing is to just be more intentional and pick up the pace. A lot of people just start everything with this whole apathy, like they're just kind of not excited. And I will tell you, if you're not excited about the information, dude, nobody else is going to be excited. Like you need to get pumped up, and you're the best at this. Like sometimes you pop on and I'm having a freaking boring day or kind of not feeling it. And Chris comes on with fucking grin ear to ear. He's ready to go. He's just amped. I'm like, okay, let's go. Like if Chris is pumped, I need to get pumped. So then that energy becomes contagious. So you notice how the most successful people in our industry, people like Jeremy Forcier, all these other
Oh,
people,
yeah.
these people, what they have, they're enthusiastic. They have enthusiasm, bro. Let's go. I'm ready to serve. Let's do something today. So how do you get a better audience? Like make a better video first. Next, I thought that you build it, they will come. Truth is, very few people come. Like you need to get this thing out to people. So let me give you an easy example. One of our loan officers in our group made a video talking about a program available for a specific listing. He posted it. He got a couple hundred views on Instagram and Facebook. Cool. Definitely better than not doing that video. Then he says, I'm not done yet. He sends that video through direct message to some people who had reached out who are thinking about buying. He sent it to other agents who have listings and said, hey, I just made this video with Susan highlighting this program. You may or may not be aware, but hope this helps. Have a great day. So he sent out like 20 messages, sending the video into people's hands so they can actually watch it. bro, he got 4 leads.
That's
So
better than 2,000 likes.
yeah, last time I checked, you can't deposit likes at the bank, bro. So we're talking about income.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you make something, let's get it out there. Also, every email he sends, and this I do this still to this day, like, let's connect on Instagram. It's not like hidden at the bottom, hoping they follow you. It's like, no, I am posting helpful content on Instagram. Let's connect there. Or I'm posting every week on LinkedIn. Let's connect there. Whatever it is your thing. But don't just wait for people to find you. Push them to it. Like drive them to it. Every single email. And you'll notice now more of your people are seeing your content. And then you'll notice that if it's good content, now they respect you. So that's the game.
Hmm. Margaret asked, uh, sh- I heard a lot of people buying followers. Does it help if I have more followers to grow these videos? Now I have a theory on that. I
Yep.
never bought followers uh, that I
I
know
know
of.
people who have, yeah.
Right, and maybe it works for some, and maybe it works. It's never worked for me. But what's your take on that?
So whenever you post a video on Instagram, it shows it to a sample of your followers and strangers for free, which is the coolest part because it's just going to introduce you to random people. And then depending on how those videos get watched, it shows it to more of those people. If you have purchased followers, these are fake followers. They're not real people. They're ghosts. They're just like empty accounts. They can't engage. So what happens is when it shows your video to the section of followers, majority of those people are not going to engage with the content. So then it thinks the content sucks, even if you made a good video. So you have this handicap on every single thing you post because there's a big portion of your audience that's never going to engage with the content. They don't even care. They don't watch. They're not even real. They're ghosts. So that kills you from an engagement perspective. So then what happened is people started to buy engagement. So now there's another service where you can buy likes. So you'll notice this does, I don't know, I'm not going to call anybody out. I don't even remember, but I do notice that there are people who will post a picture that's just a random picture. It could be like what they ate for lunch.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, within 20 minutes, there's 3,000 likes on the picture. I'm like, okay, it was a cool picture, bro. But like, even I know, like, this is fake, you know? So you're not fooling anybody worth fooling. You know what I mean? Like, it's really just you're actually lowering your stats. So I think that game is up. You would I don't think people care about how many followers you have. I do think it matters having some views and some followers, but it's not as valuable as it used to be. It's the same reason why pulling up in a super exotic car used to get you a bunch of credibility and people maybe want to like ask you about it. Like, yeah, it kind of works, but for the most part, in 2025, nobody cares, bro.
No.
I mean, I'm here in Vegas. I'm at the gym in the morning. There's the guy with the Porsche. There's the guy with the freaking Rolls Royce. There's another guy. They're numb to all of this. It's just not what it used to be. You can't really shock people like that. So all that to say is these vanity things don't matter as much as people think. Just do it the old-fashioned way. Build an actual engaged community. I would much rather have a smaller audience of people who engage with my stuff than a bunch of people who are ghosts and never did anything with me. The whole point of social is to be social. So um, I would, yeah, just focus on building actual a real community. That's going to impact your business more.
You made a comment in the beginning of when we got kind of on this topic about mapping out your week.
Yeah.
And do you do it like in sections, or do you do it like by the time, the day, or looking at a
Yeah. So
calendar?
I would just
Like
put things like
how do you do it?
I would do time blocking, but if I'm being super honest, I have ADD and I jump around from things to thing, and sometimes I break, all the whole, I'll go off the rails. So I'm not the best person for structure, but I have found that having some structure helps. So, for example, I do all of my calls now, and actually got this from a buddy in the industry. I do all my calls on certain days during the week if I
Sure.
can. Now, it doesn't mean that a call can't come up on a Thursday or a Friday, but like I've just noticed that if you are doing calls and jumping on Zooms and doing all this stuff at random parts throughout the week, you keep switching tasks. It messes up your brain. You can't go from like creating content to now jumping on a Zoom call to solve a deal to now jumping on a staff meeting to do like so. I try and do majority of these meetings and Zooms and calls on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then the other days I can block time for more prospecting, creativity, webinars, teaching, content, more stuff like that, leadership stuff. And so I think it's just putting those in different buckets would help. Doesn't mean you have to stick to them 100% of the time, but I think having some structure would help people because a lot of people come to the office, they don't know what to do.
I know.
And then you do nothing.
Yeah. I asked a college athlete one time why he had a trainer. He's done with college. He's working, he's in his career. I go, why do you have a trainer? He says, I've basically lived the majority of my life with someone telling me what to do every day.
Dang.
And now I up to work or I go to the gym and no one's telling me what to do and I suck.
Yeah.
And if I just have someone help me and give me a little guidance, I'm really good. Which it's kind of the way I have to work too. I kind of got to be bossed around a little, and then I'm pretty good at it. Hey, Ken S asked, I'm brand new to Insta. It's is it better to start following people right away with virtual content, with
Oh,
virtually no
yeah.
content on my page, or should I post? This is a great question. Or
Yeah.
should I
So
post to avoid for a couple weeks before I follow people?
you want to
Great
plant your
question.
flag. You want to plant your flag and make sure your profile is optimized. So what you want to do is get a good profile picture. It should be close up to your face, make you look appealing. A lot of people put like it's a very small circle. You've noticed. A
Right.
lot of people use it to put a picture of their family with their dog. You can't see anything. So it should just be your mug. Okay. Look
Okay.
at the top influencers. Look at the people who have built the biggest audiences. It's their mug, right?
Hmm.
Close up. So make a good, clean picture there. If you have a headshot, use that. If you don't have one, take one with your phone and then eventually get a better one. Cool. Next, make sure your profile says who you serve, how you can help people.
Mm.
What would be the reason to follow this account? You know, so it might be a short statement on the people you serve, and don't be afraid
Mortgage
to
lender is just not enough.
correct. How about like I make mortgages easy for young professionals that want to buy a house without the hassle. Something I'm just riffing, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
something simple like what is your value proposition? Like we have one guy in our group, Chris, he's like I said, what do you really focus on is a niche. I know you do all loans. You can do VA, you can do FHA, you can do jumbo, all this stuff. He's like, dude, one of the things I'm really focused on this year is non-QM. And I love helping business owners who don't have tax returns. So I was like, okay, how about your bio said I help busy entrepreneurs uh, get approved or buy homes, even if they don't have tax records, even if they have messy tax returns. Cool. That's a reason to learn. Like that's somebody like you must stand for something. That doesn't mean you're not going to get a clean FHA or conventional loan either. You can still do those, but you have to serve somebody. Otherwise, you serve nobody. So yes, Chris is spot on. Don't just say mortgage lender. Say who you serve, what you do, something unique. If you have a nickname, by the way, Ken, that would be great. Some people like have a nickname, like they call
Mm.
themselves, I don't know, whatever it is. So come up with a freaking nickname. If you have one, use that. If not, you can think about this later, but you need some sort of shtick. Put it in there. And then you need like right now you can start following people and you could drive people. But if you have no content, it kind of feels empty. So I would start to post something, like start to get some videos up. And in the beginning, you don't need to overthink this. You can literally just make a video selfie style or put your phone on a tripod. And what you want to do is just think about the problems that your clients face or the questions they have in today's market. And then how would you answer or solve those problems? And so, one easy, non confrontational way is you could look at your phone as if it's like a question, and you could do exactly what Chris just said. So he's looking at the thing, he's answering, he's looking at the question, and then we answer it. So you could look down at your phone and say, so John asks, do I really need this much money to buy a home? And then I'm just giving you super, super basic. So John
Yeah.
asked you, I still need 20% down to buy a home. I've heard PMI is like the devil. And you go, John, you do not need 20% down. Let me tell you, PMI, that's an old wives' tale. PMI has come down drastically in cost, depending on your credit or your qualifications. It can actually be very inexpensive. And what's cool is on a conventional loan, you can even get rid of it. So you don't have to pay it for that long. And so bottom line is buy a home when you have the minimum amount down. Don't wait to save up for a down payment because that can end up costing you more in the long run. Cool. That's a video. That's just a basic video. Next question. And you start to do this. Now, in the beginning, it's probably going to take you, Ken, like 14 takes to make that video. That's cool. That's how you get better. Just swing the freaking bat. Just do the reps. And it's okay to make good enough content before you make great content. Like a lot of people
Yeah.
want to start with great. Let's just make good enough content for today. I just need to check. I'm not saying I'm going to post a video that sucks, but I'm saying like, dude, on seventh take, it was pretty good. It could have been better, but it's good enough. Let's send it. Let's move on with the day. Move on to the next one. And then eventually you get to the point where you can make great content. I think people really get stuck on, they want to make great content out the gate. It's not possible.
Yeah. I was with Jonathan and Dad the other day to a
Yeah.
name event, and he has video guy there who I really like. And I go, hey, what's going on? What's working, not working? He goes, it's super frustrating. I go, what do you mean it's super frustrating?
Yeah.
He goes, my best work, no one looks at it.
Dang.
If it's too perfect, it's like, oh, that's too perfect. I don't want to see that. He goes, if it's slopped together and not professional, everybody loves it. He goes, I take pride in making really cool shit. And then everybody watches the stuff that I thought was a dud.
Yeah.
And and I go, isn't engagement different?
Yeah.
Quality is not equal engagement sometimes. I think it has somewhat to play, and it can't be like I can't hear you, understand you, I can't see. And I've noticed the second thing, I can't wait to get your take on this, is that you mentioned not always seeing your mug. Like B-roll is becoming a, an eye catcher of having great B-roll so that you can integrate inside your video to create maybe them watching it a little bit longer. Do you have a take or a
Yeah.
feel or an opinion on that?
Yeah. So this is a great way to mix it up, and also it can be a way for your account to get way more views and traffic. Now, it doesn't work like foolproof. Nothing is foolproof. You might blow up with a teaching video where you talk, and somebody else might blow up with the B-roll video, but it is good to mix it up. Okay. And in general, talking head videos are tougher to get a big audience for. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen every week, but like it's just less people win because there's less people who have the patience to watch your video if you're teaching them something. That's why when I cut to showing some numbers, it always gets 5 to 10 times the views because it's just more engaging. There's something happening here. That's why, when people have a creative take on doing it outside or showing the property, it's way better than if they just sat in the office and did it. So these are things that you can do to be more engaging. But one way that you can really do this is put your phone on a tripod and capture some shots of you just doing things. So it's like you working at your desk, you taking a call, maybe you're meeting with somebody, and just ask the receptionist or somebody in the office, hey, could you grab a video of me just going and shaking hands and greeting this guest or
Yeah.
this client? And
Oh,
she'll be
that's
like,
great.
why do you want that? I'm like, don't ask. Just I might need it in the future. Just can you just record it? Cool. She's like, okay. And wipe the lens, get the footage. Now you've got footage of you greeting somebody. Like now you've got this footage of you working. Now you've got this footage of you. So now when you want to teach something, the thing that people think they need to do is like all the B-roll needs to match exactly what you say. It does not.
Mm,
So what you could do is you could have a few clips, one of you on the phone, one of you working, one of you greeting somebody, or one of you talking to somebody at an event. So those are 4 clips, whatever. Those in like 2-3 seconds together is like 8 seconds or something like this
yeah.
uh, for the whole video. Cool. Over that, you can just say something, voiceover, and teach something. Or you can just put music, whatever you want. But like this is a cool way to do it, to teach without you talking directly to the camera. It's just shots of you doing things and then you put the text over it. And these voice over videos over B-roll are crushing right now. Like I've seen so many creators blow up with this. I saw a guy in who I met on Instagram, this kid named Gannon. He started from 0 and he grew his account to 100,000 followers by just telling stories with B-roll. And what's crazy is he probably posted 100 videos, but 9 out of the 100 of this style were the ones that got him all the followers. They blew up. The other ones were just like good, but not great. And it was
I gotcha.
probably, to your point, the ones he didn't think were going to blow up, right? And that's what you just got to keep, doing them. So he did them for like a year. 9 out of 100 blew up, and now he has an audience. It's really cool.
You can't predict it. That's the
No,
crazy thing. And I'm like, oh, this video is really good, really good. And then it was a dud. You can't predict it. Hey, Jordan Fechner says, if I was going to pick one social media to start with to post content, which platform should I choose? This is a great question. I
yeah.
can't wait to hear how you answer it.
Okay, so if you like to write more, if you just like writing, I would say LinkedIn. You should go
Yeah.
on LinkedIn and crush it on LinkedIn right now. I'm not on LinkedIn very much, but when I go there, I've noticed video is like a kind of it works, but it's not really getting much engagement. You can get a lot of views, but it doesn't lead to much business there. The stuff that's crushing there is written content done
Mm,
well. And you can use AI to help you with this, by the way. You can tell it your thought and say, I'm trying to turn this thought into a effective LinkedIn written post. Help me make it more effective and keep the reader engaged. and you can go back and forth with the AI to refine it and get good at this. So this is one way that any writer could become a better writer, is just using AI. Next is, if you want to do video, which it sounds like people who are watching this do want to do, because it's the most effective way to connect with the audience and build that trust. Video is going to do that for you. I would do it on Instagram and make sure your Instagram is synced up to your personal Facebook. So every time you post a video on Instagram, it's also sharing it to Facebook. Instagram and Facebook are one thing, so you're getting two birds, one stone. It's so easy, right? So anytime you post on stories on Instagram, it's also sharing to your Facebook personal story. Make sure it's to your personal page on Facebook, by the way, because your business page doesn't really get any engagement on Facebook. It's just there as a placeholder. But yes, make sure you use Instagram. It's also going to connect to Facebook, and you hit a really cool, large demographic that can impact your business.
Yeah. Last question. Mindy asked, what should I use to edit my videos? I,
Yeah, great question. So we have two styles of editing. One is I do it really quick with my phone. Did you know, Mindy, and anybody else watching or listening, is I made a video at my desk right here in this exact office, sitting just like this. And I talked to the back lens of the camera, just like this. And then I flipped it around to look at what's on the screen and show a program. The program I wanted to highlight was a community lending program that offers better interest rates if you buy a home in these markets. So I wanted to show the map of Las Vegas and what areas are eligible. So I said, look, guys, if you're struggling to buy a home in today's market, I'm right there with you, but I want you to check out this program. And then I showed the program. And then I came back and I said, if you want more information on this or you want the map, comment this word and I'll send it to you. Bro, hundreds and hundreds of people commented. So the reason why that was a big unlock for me about 6 months ago is I've done several other ones like this and it's similar result, is it was no production value and it was not professionally edited. I just used the simple captions in Instagram. So I tried to nail it in one take, which is tough. It took me a bunch of tries. I'm being honest. Like I had a bunch of tries. It wasn't like I just one trick, one shot and posted. No, I had to do it a bunch of times to get it down to like the 45 seconds I wanted it to be in.
right.
Because you know how the biggest problem is you ramble on for 90 seconds. You're like, oh shit, I got to make a 45-second video. So all that to say is I have a lot of videos where it's just shot and posted and you could use simple captions on Instagram. Now, you can make easy edits in there. They've added a lot of things. For example, if you talk on a video and you make some mess ups, whatever, or you have some long pauses while you're thinking of your next line, when you bring it into Instagram, you can tap this thing called cut silences. It will cut all the silence between the clips automatically using whatever tech they've implemented. And so what's really cool is like, I could say a few lines and then pause and gather my thoughts and think of what to come next, but keep recording and then just say the next ending part. And then that whole pause is going to be clipped out automatically. So there's really cool features like this that you can use and it makes your editor obsolete. I will say though, that about the other half of my videos, I just shoot them and all the mess ups included, all the retakes all in just one file, and then I just hand it over to an editing service, and they charge about $25 per video to edit that video into an actual caption video. But you just want to make sure, to Chris's point earlier, it doesn't look too overproduced. When it looks overproduced, like it comes across as an ad or a commercial, and the audience just tunes out. So you don't want to get too fancy with the editing. And I tell my editor, hey, let's lean more minimal edits and simple b-roll, simple captions, and they know what to do. So just and Mindy or anybody watching, if you need an editor, just DM me on Instagram. We have like a resource sheet I can share with you, and it's about $25 per video.
Cool. So hey, thank you for this today.
Yeah, you're welcome, man.
You dropped a lot of cool things, and thank you for everybody that asked these questions, because these questions got great content. I just watched him do like 2 videos when he kind of demonstrated the Mindy deal, and I'm like, that's the video right there. But Neel, how do they get connected? Instagram? How do I get? Is the forward event officially sold out?
No, so here's the thing. For the forward event, is this, by the way, is this live right now, or are we?
Yeah, we're live right now.
Oh, sweet. Okay. I thought this is like something that gets sent out after. So anybody who wants to think about coming to this year's event, it's perfect timing. The tickets go on sale tomorrow. So it's not like a thing where you can just go to the website. And sorry, not tomorrow, 3rd. So today's Tuesday the 1st. It's April 3rd, Thursday, April 3rd.
This is not an April Fool's joke, right? This is
This is not April Fool's. Yeah. So every
yeah.
year we don't just like have a website you can go to get the tickets. Like you have to come to this launch. It's like you went to a freaking concert, okay? And the tickets go on sale on this day, okay? And on
Love
that
this.
day is the date you can get your tickets. Now, if you want to know when the event is, it's July 11th and 12th in Las Vegas. So make sure you're free that weekend. By the way, if you don't have anything happening that weekend, then you're free. This is what you're doing. Somebody told me, they're like, yo, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, I know. You're coming to forward, bro. Like, that's it.
That's right.
It's really simple. It's like, I'll make the decision for you. But all that to say is April 3rd, it gets released on a live Zoom. And every year it gets a little bit closer to the point where the event almost sells out on that first day of release. And I'm going on a limb here today, Chris, but I believe this year, because of the amount of interest of that we have, and the list has grown to thousands and thousands of people,
Yeah.
that it's going to sell out on Thursday. So if you'd like to go and learn about this, I'm going to talk about it. Plus, I have some guests from the event that are going to be live on Zoom with me. It's happening on Thursday. Just go to Neel's Big Day. So Neel with two E's. So neelsbigday.com,
Cool.
neelsbigday.com, and you will see you can sign up and you'll get the link. It's free to attend. You can learn about the event. If you want to come, I'd love to have you there. If not, you'll still have a great time on the Zoom because we got some special guests and we're going to teach a bunch of cool stuff.
Cool. Neil's Big Day on the 3rd
Yes.
at 11. What time did you
It's
say?
at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, cool. Make sure you guys check that out. Neil, thanks for being on Coaching with Chris. Always great value. The content you gave everybody. I learned a couple of things. Heck, I didn't know Instagram had the silence remover out of it.
Bro, and we could do another talk just on those little things. I think that's where people get held up. And before you go, Chris, I just want to say, man, we got to meet a couple years ago at one of the conferences that we were both speaking at. And bro, I just really appreciate your energy and the enthusiasm that you bring. And you just light up the room, man. And what's crazy is I believe your personal brand is what people say when you're not in the room. That's a big piece of your personal brand. And just so you know, anytime your name comes up, people have nothing but the best things to say about you in every room. So I know that you worked hard to do that. And I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thanks, Neil.
See you, man.